Golly, that's good.
I cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots.
That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peshods or pachods or pachaw. This is not what I expected. And here we are. Yeah, it's Wednesday, not Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be an insane day, and I've got way too much going on, and there's no way I can fit in a Bourbcast on Thursday. So we're doing it on Wednesday, because I'm not going to be able to do it on Friday either. And as a matter of fact, for the month of June, I think we're going to stay on Wednesdays. It is my least crowded day. There's way too much going on the rest of the month, and we're just gonna keep it on Wednesdays. For Facebook users watching it live, it'll be Wednesdays at 7 through the month of June. And for YouTube, it probably doesn't make a difference because we use the same show. We just upload it to YouTube afterwards. So YouTube may see it sooner. They may not. We love you just as much, YouTube. We really do. Thank you very much for all your attention, particularly recently. I appreciate it. It's live on Facebook at Beautiful Bourbon if you wanted to watch it live. Normally Thursdays at 7, but during the month of June, Wednesdays at 7. All right, we're going to get into a whole new month, which means a whole new bucket of pours. It's going to be, Spencer's watching. Hey, Spencer, how are you? It's going to be all barrel-proof picks this month. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to start off with the one that people were talking about when they first started doing it, and they're still talking about it because it's evidently still pretty good. That would be the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. And I don't know, it's not going to sit up there. It was worth a shot. We could turn this over. We could turn it over. Maybe that'll work. Why is it important? It isn't. Chris is watching. Hey, Chris. We're early tonight, doing it on Wednesday instead of Thursday. That's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the month if we're doing it live on Facebook. Wednesdays. Okay. Barrel proof. Jack Daniel's. Where's my glass? Single barrel proof. I will also be honest with you. I am absolutely physically exhausted. So yesterday, it may even be, let me even go back a couple days. Let me see here. If I go to Fitbit app, I can tell you that, okay, so let's see. Monday I did 11,216 steps. Yesterday I did 12,105 steps. And today so far 11,591 steps. So out getting ready for 3D archery. 3D archery is where you have foam renditions of animals and you go out and you shoot them. And there are 30 targets, and somebody volunteered to chair this month's shoot who has never done it before. I am a veteran at setting up 3D archery shoots. I'm good at it. I like doing it. And I mean, honestly, I make a pretty good mentor, right? Because I don't just do it, I teach. I teach as I go along. Hey, this doesn't look safe. Hey, where's this going to end up? If they miss the target, where's the arrow going to go? If they sky draw it, you know, draw it up in the air and then bring it back down, where's that arrow going to go if they misfire? These are the types of things you have to think about, because not everybody is smart when it comes to how they shoot archery. All right, I got to keep the label out front, see, and my jangle. So that's what I've been doing. That and lawn maintenance, and I'm going to leave the cork off. Lawn maintenance and all sorts of stuff, and I'm just physically absolutely exhausted. I feel it everywhere. I feel older than I am, and I get it. I'm old. I get it. But holy cow, whew, everything hurts. Chris is watching. Hey, Chris, I'm glad you're along for the ride. Listen to me complain. All right, starting this month of barrel proofs. Not all of them are going to be single barrels, but they all are going to be cask strength, barrel proof, however you want to look at it. I don't know if I have them all scheduled. I'll have to look at my my database and see. If I don't, it might give me a chance to go back to that Maker's Mark that I was going to try and didn't do. I don't know. I'll have to look and see. So, as a matter of fact, I can even plan for that. I can plan to look for that. So that way when it comes to it, I'll be ready. Boy, I hate being blind. Being blind stinks. Even with a big screen, I'm blind. There we go. Okay. All right, so, Jack Daniels, you know what Jack Daniels is. It's Tennessee whiskey. It basically starts off as a bourbon, and then they run it through the Lincoln County process, which is basically to let it drip slowly through like 10 feet of maple wood charcoal. And, it gives it a unique taste. It gives it a unique process that makes it not bourbon, but Tennessee whiskey. If you want to brand your whiskey as Tennessee whiskey, you do it the way Tennessee says to do it, and it makes a special, unique, state-based product. And Chris is saying, just here for your soon-to-be disappointment. I'm not a Jack fan, right up there with Maker's Mark. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not a big Jack fan. I'm not a big Maker's Mark fan. However, Maker's Mark has come out with some, like the BEP, that was incredible. I think I've got one back there. Yeah. Yeah. If you see this one, Chris, the BEP, this is a 2023 release, and these we're making it back out on the shelves again yet this year. I saw this one in the spring, and I couldn't pass it up because I did taste this last year, and it was fabulous. It was incredible, really, honestly. This is the best thing Maker's Mark has ever done. I do like the Maker's 46. I like the Maker's 46 cask strength as well. So, like I said, we may get back to that, we may not. Regular Maker's, not a fan. Regular Jack, not a fan. But I did like the Jack Daniel Triple Mash. The bonded was okay. The bonded got better as it sat. The Triple Mash, I like that right out of the gate, right off a fresh cork. Crack, whatever you want to look at it. Todd's watching. Hey, Todd. So, now, I will also confess that I have had Jack Daniel's single barrel proof one other time, and it was after during a Christmas party, a family Christmas party. We had taken this road, it had snowed, and we got stuck. There were 6 of us in the truck, or in the van, and we got stuck. So, here's KC, digging us out. But by the time we got to the party, somebody ended up towing us out, thankfully, because it would have taken me forever. We were just not getting anywhere. By the time I got to the party, I was wet, I was freezing, and I was ticked off. So the host said, here, have one of these. And I didn't stop at one. Let's just say it that way. I kept going. And that's where I was introduced also to the Glencairn glass. I didn't even know these things existed until that day. So despite my misfortune with the snow and being late for the party, I learned a lot that day, and I did really like that Jack Daniel's single barrel. But let's give it another try. I've had lots of barrel proof pours since then. Let's see how this stacks up. All right. It's got a nice nose to it. It doesn't betray itself as a Tennessee whiskey. And a lot of times that happens. A lot of times when you're nosing a Tennessee whiskey, it doesn't have that Tennessee whiskey taste. It has a bourbon taste, or bourbon smell rather, pardon me. That bourbon nose. And that's what this is. There's some astringency in there. It would just burn all the hair off the inside of my nostrils there. It's got that sweetness that you might expect from a Tennessee whiskey. It's kind of like a creme brulee sweetness. There's a little cinnamon in there, but the vanillas are hot. The vanillas are heavy. The caramels are there. Caramel, if you have a degree. Whew, I can't stick my nose down in that glass. The cinnamon is almost like a red hot, like a cinnamon candy. Not quite, though. I've had other ones that really presented themselves much more as a red hot, and this doesn't do that. This isn't that bad. You gotta be careful not to take too big of a whiff. I'm telling you. I'm gonna feel that tomorrow. All right. Hey, Dawn's watching. Hey, Dawn. How are you? I guess I caught people on the right night when we switched it to Wednesdays for the month of June. Awesome, awesome. All right, well, okay, down the hatch. Whew. That's warm. Whew. Whew. Again, it was a little bit like that foolproof from Benchmark is on the now don't get me wrong, it had a lot of presence on the palate. Sat there on my tongue, I could feel it. But then after you swallow, that's when it really starts to go, hey, hi. So Chris says, I think Jack Daniels is grasping for straws right now, trying to keep up with Buffalo Trace, Old Forester, ECT. Give me a second. That could be Elijah Craig, ECT. I don't know. With all the new stuff they're bringing out, I just don't see them competing Jack as Jack. Again, let's just talk about the triple mash for a minute. The triple mash used for the first time the malt whiskey that Jack Daniels has been making for 10 years. So they made a single malt, the malted barley, they made that, and it sat in its own barrel. And then they had a rye, and it sat in its own barrel, and then they had the corn whiskey, and it sat in its own barrel, and they aged separately. And at the end, they brought them all together, aged it a little longer, and the triple mash. So that is a unique process. Not a lot of people do it that way. Probably the closest thing that I know of is Smoke Wagon. They do their rye and their corn whiskey separately because the rye needs to stay young so it doesn't get, rye heavy. Whereas the corn takes longer to age. So it's a unique process that Jack Daniels did, and I like how it turned out. I think that final blend was really good for me. The Bonded I didn't love. Jack Daniels I don't love. This, if you're looking for proof, has it. Hattie's watching. Hey, Hattie, how are you? So we're doing the Jack Daniels single barrel proof. That's the other thing about this one, is it is a single barrel. So we talked about this last week with Benchmark and their single barrel. It'll have, 55 gallons or something like that in it, which will make 123 bottles, I think. I don't really remember the math, if they're all 750 milliliters. And that's it. So every single one of these is going to be just so slightly different based on the barrel that it rests in and how long it sits there. So this one is going to be, Larry's watching. Hey, Larry. This one is, this is the only one, there'll be 100-some bottles of this, and that's it. And this is an OHLQ pick. So this is a little bit different yet. They got to choose the barrels that they wanted, and I think they chose several different barrels. This was barrel number 2, and I want to say this came out of 2020. It doesn't say. But I think this was 2020. I think the first time they did the barrel proof single barrel was 2019. I think this was a 2020 release, and this was supposed to be a Christmas present, and it wasn't. It was a Christmas present for me. Aaron's watching. Hey, Aaron, how are you? I think they're fairly close from batch to batch as well. Yeah, they probably are, but they are a single barrel, and you have to give it credit for what it is. They don't blend it, okay? Whereas the triple mash is blended, the Bonded is blended, the Old No.7 is blended. Everything else they do is blended unless it says single barrel. All right, let's get back to this. The Old No.7 is 80 proof, and it is weak. Weak in flavor, weak in viscosity. I think it's Jack Daniel's bottom shelf. I think it's the lowest thing that they make, this Old No.7. And people still mix it with Coke. Why? So this one, barrel proof. I didn't even tell you what the proof is on it. 131.2. That benchmark full proof that we had was 125. This is 131. This is warm. No wonder. Okay, the viscosity on this is really nice. The mouthfeel is very nice. It's got a silkiness to it. If you're looking for that almost an unfiltered, now we know this is filtered. We know this is filtered heavy. But if you're looking for almost an unfiltered type of mouthfeel, this gets close to it. It's a little buttery. It's got a really nice mouthfeel compared to well, the Old No.7 first of all, but a lot of other ones. It sticks to the glass well. It can be a bit warm. Yeah. No, that's another thing. It does have nice legs in the inside of the glass. It is holding on. Now, you can do that with wine, but what you'll see on the side of the glass is normally sugars as they're holding onto the side of the glass. If it's this, there's no sugar in this. This is alcohol. And alcohol will hold on to the edge of the glass and just remind you that it's there. Okay. All right, let me see if I can pull out some flavors for this one. Okay, so, yeah, it's just sticking to the side of that glass. It looks like it's coming down in sheets. I don't like Jack Daniel's. But at barrel proof, this is actually pretty decent. It still has a little bit of that Jack Daniel's flavor, but at the same time it has more. Think about the benchmark series we just finished. The nose was sweet, fragrant, nice. You take a sip of it and it tastes earthy, oaky. It's good, and as you go up in the echelon of benchmarks, it got better and better and better. And there are just some whiskeys that are better off not watered down, right? So you add water to it and it proofs it down. You add ice to it and it mutes the flavors. You add Coke to it. What's the matter with you? No, drink it how you like it. I'm playing. But a full-proof pour that hasn't been watered down always is going to have more flavors than the watered-down version. And I say watered down. We'll call it proofed down just because it's more politically correct. This one is barrel proof. This is the proof it was when it came out of the barrel. So if you're not allowed now. I think Tennessee whiskey has the same restrictions as bourbon, where it cannot go into the barrel any higher than 125 proof. It's in there for however many years it's in there, and there's going to be some evaporation. As that water evaporates out, the proof of what's in the barrel rises because there's no water holding that proof down. As the water goes out, what you're left with is the alcohol. There's less water in it, therefore the proof goes up. So that's what this possibly is 131 proof. Proof is in a pudding, or in the bottle for that matter. Jack and Coke is a American staple drink. Compared to something else high proof. Well, Chris, this month is going to be all barrel proof stuff. So comparing it is definitely a possibility. Now, I still have work to do tonight, so I'm not going to go too crazy with this. I've got to be able to talk. I have voiceovers I have to record. And if I do this, I can't get my work done. So maybe next week we'll be playing around with some ideas. But the finish on this says Jack Daniel's. I have the flavor of Jack Daniel's on my lips. The finish is not long in the palate and beyond, but on the lips I still have some Jack Daniel's. It tastes like Jack Daniel's. That sweet, that Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey sour mash sweetness, right? It's right there. But there's so much more going on with it at barrel proof that, I mean, Chris, I understand, and I want to dislike it, and I can't. It doesn't taste like Jack Daniel's to me. There's a lot more going on when it's full proof. If you haven't had it yet, I would encourage you to stop by a bar that has it and try it, because it's just not what you would expect out of Jack Daniel's. And I'm not a fan of Jack Daniel's either. We talked about this. Aaron says, not really sure you can compare Jack to bourbon. That really isn't fair. Well, Jack Daniel's is bourbon until it goes through the Lincoln County process. They run it through that charcoal filtering, and that's when it becomes Tennessee whiskey. So it is fair to do a Tennessee whiskey and put it back to back with bourbon. I understand what you're saying, and you have a point. But when you're talking about barrel proof pours and all the extra flavor that's there in a barrel proof pour, I'm willing to try it. Okay, that was not a Jack Daniel's burp. There was something there, but it didn't taste like Jack Daniel's. Okay. We got more to do and we're running out of time. I got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. All right. Getting brown sugar, vanilla. There's a nice oak note to it too. I don't think it says on the bottle how long it aged, and I didn't look it up. From grain to barrel, straight to the bottle, our barrel-proof Jack Daniel's single barrel is made for those who appreciate a pure taste experience. Well, that is what I'm getting, pure taste. This was bottled on November 2nd, 2020, so I was right about that. At least I was right about something. I like being right. Don't we all, though? This does not have an age statement on it. I'm still looking. Does not have an age statement on it. And this bling here that it's got, it doesn't really say anything. It just says OHLQ number 2. So I don't know how long it was aged. It's got a nice dark color to it, though. So, you know, the brown sugars, the cinnamons, the vanillas, that creme brulee thing I got on the nose, I'm still getting it. On the palate, I'm getting it. It's just, it's not Old No.7. This is actually quite tasty. I do like it. Now we're going to water it down. These are going to be smaller pours. Because like I said, I got work to do. I knew it was here somewhere. I remembered moving it. Nathan's watching and Bill is watching. Thank you very much, guys. I'm glad you're here. We got the guys and the gals here tonight. That's neat. All right. Sooner or later this summer, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to get a group together. And we're going to go out on the back deck, guys and gals both, and we're going to drink whiskey. And we're going to talk about whiskey and tell stories and probably a few lies. But that'll be a special Bourbcast. Probably not on a Wednesday or Thursday night. Wednesday during June, Thursdays the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, we are going to be going to some bourbon bars. And lo and behold, I was invited to do a barrel pick. So Monday I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to go do a barrel pick. And I can't wait. This is exciting. I've never done anything like that before. But somebody was going to go and suddenly couldn't go, and they asked if I wanted to. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we'll do some live stuff on Monday as we go through the barrel pick with permission. I have to ask permission to see if it's okay to do it. But if they say it's okay to do it, then we'll go live and we'll do a barrel pick with y'all watching. Well, it'll be fun. Okay, so this is with a little water, about a milliliter. See what happens. okay. It did proof it down, thankfully. Not as hot, which means I'm getting a lot more of the flavors. There's a really nice oakiness to this that you don't get with regular Old No.7 black Jack Daniels. The oakiness here is very, very nice. I would imagine that I've witnessed this in the pours. Like, for instance, again, we go back to benchmark again. The full proof is the exact same thing as their Old No.8. Old No.8 is 80 proof. But the flavors on the bonded and the full proof and the single barrel were heads and tails better than the Old No.8. Why? Because when you add water to it and you proof it down, you rid it of flavor. You take some of the flavor away. Take some of what makes it special away. Some of you may not remember all of the arguing that happened when CDs came out and record albums, the vinyl albums, started to become bye-bye. The record albums and the cassettes were pure recordings. The cassettes had the problem of having hiss, because now you're running something across a magnetic head and you get hiss off of that. So they added noise reduction to get rid of the hiss. Well, then you lost some of that fidelity. Records, vinyl records, had the best sound. Yeah, they skipped, and yeah, you heard click, 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 and little pops and stuff, but they had the best sound. Now, when CDs came out, and then MP3s came out, they took the lowest part of the audio spectrum, the lowest frequencies, and the highest frequencies, particularly with the MP3s, and they chucked them. Will you be able to perceive those lowest frequencies and those highest frequencies? No. That's why they chucked them for the MP3s particularly, so they can have smaller file sizes. Why am I telling you this? Well, because this is the same thing. This is a record album, vinyl record album. The 80 proof is an MP3. They took all the good stuff out of it. That some people, well, they took more than, they took a lot. They took a lot. But that's the difference. This is the record album. There's a lot more going on in this. All right. This barrel pick is an OHLQ barrel pick, Chris. So in Ohio, bars and restaurants aren't allowed to do their own picks. I don't know why that is. Now, private groups can do their own picks, hence where I'm going to go do a pick. But bars and restaurants cannot for some reason. So this one is an OHLQ pick. If you're asking about where the pick is that I'm going to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to say. I can tell you. I can tell you. Hold on. Joel is watching. Hey, Joel. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Let me go to my messages. It does say. So it's a Boone County barrel pick. Now, some of the Boone County that they have there is MGP. The stuff that's MGP, I actually like. The pot still stuff that they did on their own, I didn't love. So this will be an interesting experiment. So Boone County, and I've been in Boone County. I've been past the road that goes to the distillery. I've just never stopped. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate this. I actually like it. There's a lot of great flavors in this. Let's do the Gorgeous Ice Sphere. White Claw review for Aaron Blake. These days, even that would turn him. He'd be not able to handle that. White Claw. That's funny. This is a small ice sphere. This has been pre-used. So I'm not going to put a lot of Jack in there with it, and this is going to be the last pour. I got work to do. Okay. We'll cool it down. I do have ice spheres ready to go. I I get less excited about putting pours on ice. I just don't generally like it. Recently, there have been a couple that really worked out well on ice, and I was pleased. I don't think this is going to be one of them, but we're going to let it get good and cold. What Jack is it? This Jack is a 2020 OHLQ special barrel release that they did in November of 2020. The OHLQ does their own picks, and this is probably one of 6 or 7 single barrels that they chose, knowing that they'll get about 125, 130 bottles out of one barrel. And then they can hike up the price. And I bought several of these because they were supposed to be Christmas gifts, and then I just didn't give them away. I kept them. just so you know, if you're family, I can love you. But if you tick me off, you're not getting the good stuff. You're just not gonna. I love you, but don't tick me off. I mean, it is what it is. Okay. On ice, it's a little more reminiscent of Old No.7, but not a lot. There's still a great deal more flavor here. Even with the ice, muting it, watering it down slightly. I got a sneeze coming. Excuse me. That won't be the only one. I was outside for every day for the last 3 days, and there's cottonwoods shedding, snowing everywhere. So sometimes I'm a little sneezy this time of year. But maybe that'll be... No, there's another one. Okay. These are my quiet sneezes, by the way. I have other ones that are... They'll tilt the house off the axis of the foundation. Just so you know. I've been criticized. All right, what Jack is it? I bet I would get sick on one, no lie. Probably. Yeah, this wouldn't take you long. Wouldn't take you long. All right. Yeah, even on ice, has a lot more flavor than the Old No.7. Oh my. All right. The worst possible expression for anything is to put it on ice. In a lot of cases. In a lot of cases. I wouldn't normally open the Jack Daniel's Old No.7, but for the sake of this Bourbcast, I will. And I said I had more work to do. That's funny. All right, so... Okay, to me this is oaky. It's like drinking water compared to that. I mean, shoot, 80 proof. This is nothing. But the oak is there. That sweet Jack Daniel's flavor is there. Joel Will hasn't seen me in the last 10 months. No. Well, Joel, you got to see Aaron now. This is your story to tell, Aaron. I'm going to leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? Okay, now, let's compare. Of the two, even on ice, the single barrel is sweeter, has a lot more flavor than the Old No.7 neat. That's incredible. I don't like Old No.7 very well. I can drink it, but this, even watered down and on ice, has more flavor than the Old No.8. It's just good. Yes, it's still Jack Daniels, but it's a lot better Jack Daniels. It's Jack Daniels, like if this is 1.0, this is Jack Daniels 10.0, right? So it's just 10 times better. All right, so I told you that I would tell you what is coming up next week. Next week we are going to do the Penelope Barrel Strength. I think that's right there in that bag. Excuse me. I am so sore and so tired. Is this the Penelope? Did you know it wouldn't say? It doesn't even say. The Penelope. Penelope Barrel Strength. This is what's going to be. I just took it out of the bag. You saw that. I bought it a long time ago and I never even opened it up. Feeling good. I take it. Sean's watching. Hey, Sean. How are you? I'm lucky, I guess. He never calls. He never writes. You guys, get a room. All right. Yeah. Heads and tails better. All right. Next week, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Moving it to Wednesdays during the month of June. Too much going on in June. So next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, the Penelope Barrel Proof, as we continue this series on barrel proof pours. I'll tell you all about it, tell you where it comes from, and whatever else I can come up with. I need your motivation, I see. All right, and somebody's calling me. Bad timing. or good timing, I don't know. We'll see. I got to run anyhow. I got work to do, as you well know, so I'm going to get out of here. But hey, we will see you next week. I do appreciate you coming alongside and joining me on a special night. I didn't really give it a whole lot of extra, push, saying, hey, guess what we're going to be doing on Wednesday for the whole month of June. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. But here we are, and you are here too, and I appreciate it. And we will see you next Wednesday for the Penelope Barrel Proof. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thanks.